Alright, this is the video lesson for 3rd of April. Okay, I am using notes 4.1 on polynomials and identities, and I would like to refer you to page 14. So on page 14, I've actually attached a new copy for you with an edit to this question. So it is a different expression, so refer to the one that is printed for you. Okay, and then we are now ready to start page 15. Okay, so page 15, you do example A. Now, do take note that for the red color one, this is the correct one on your paper. Okay, please use the correct version. Okay, for this question, perform long division. So this is just a recap of the previous lesson. Now the dividend, write down 4x power 3 minus 6x squared plus 2x minus 7. Divisor is 2x plus 1. Okay, now for you to get 4x power 3, something has to multiply 2x to give you 4x power 3. Now what you will need is a 2x squared. So 2x squared times 2x is going to give you a 4x power 3. Next, 2x squared times 1 is going to give you a positive 2x squared. And now you will perform the subtraction. So subtract using brackets. Now 4x cubed minus 4x cubed gives you a 0. Now no need to write this. Negative 6x squared minus a 2x squared is going to give you a negative 8x squared. Now, next thing, bring down the 2x. So I'll write plus 2x. Then I'll ask myself, something times 2x will give me a negative 8x squared. And that has to be a negative 4x. So that will give me a negative 8x squared. Negative 4x times positive 1 will give you a minus 4x. Now similarly, bracket and subtract. This minus this gives a 0. 2 minus minus 4 gives you a 6x. Now bring down the negative 7. And then we are at the last step. Something times 2 is going to give you a 6. And that has to be a positive 3. So 6x. And then 3 times 1 gives you a positive 3. Now if I were to subtract now, I have a remainder of negative 7 minus 3. That is a remainder of negative 10. So reminder, what we have now is, this is the dividend, this is the divisor, this is the quotient, and this is the remainder. Right, now let's fill in the blank below. Quotient, 2x squared minus 4x plus 3. Remainder is a negative 10. And then, now the last part at the bottom, we are basically using this concept in yellow that we established previously. The dividend is equals to the quotient times divisor, then you plus remainder. Alright, so let's write it down. Okay, the dividend is equals to the quotient, use brackets, times the divisor plus remainder. Now remainder in this case is negative 10. The divisor in this question is the 2x plus 1. So let's write down 2x plus 1. And then you will have the quotient. Quotient is over here. So 2x squared minus 4x plus 3. And there you have it, page 15. This was supposed to be a homework question. Alright, check your answer. Okay, we are ready now to move on to the next homework question. Now, the next homework question, please take note that there is a typo in your original paper. This is the correct one, x minus 2. Now, for this question, it was purposely designed so that you can actually notice that for the x power 3, the x and the constant term, there is actually a missing term in the middle. Now, the missing term is actually the term in x squared. So when there is an x squared missing, we will write plus 0x squared. Now that one, you have to put it into the dividend. So the calculation, for the calculation step, you must do a long division. Divisor is x minus 2, and the dividend, you have to write 6x power 3 followed by a plus 0x squared, and then plus 9x subtract 2. Now it is important to write down the plus 0x squared, because if you don't do that, you will encounter problems with the long division. Okay, so with that, can you do this by yourself and check answer in a while? Pause the video now and resume when you're ready to check. Okay, so once you have inserted the 0x squared, you can perform the long division. This is what you will see. Okay, you're going to get a remainder of 64, and if you put all this information together with the dividend, the quotient, the divisor, and the remainder, what you will have is at the bottom. Oh, sorry, the question didn't ask you to write down. Okay, so you see, there's a slight difference. For the previous question, they did ask you to express your answer in a particular form. But for this current question, they only ask you to do long division. So you don't have to put your answer in the form that they asked previously. So this will be enough. Okay? Alright, next, there is one more question here. Example 9, which you will need to do as well. Okay, so this was supposed to be a homework as well. Okay, for this particular question, do note that there is a missing 0x power 3. So please put a plus 0x power 3 in your working. Okay, check your answer when you're ready. Okay, you can pause the video now, do this question first, and then check your answer. Alright, let's resume the video. Now, if you had put in the 0x cubed like what is shown here and perform the long division, you are going to get a remainder of negative 10 for this question. Okay, so that completes you do example 9. We are now ready to proceed to the next page. Okay, so let's go to page 17. We do example 10. Now this is an indirect question that's asking you to do long division. Express the dividend divided by the divisor in a particular form. Okay, now let's perform the long division first and see where it leads us. Now in this particular case, I don't think there is any missing term. We have the x power 3, we have the x squared, we have the x, and we have the constant term. Okay, so nothing is missing. Divisor x minus 3, let's perform the long division. X squared times x, x cubed, x squared times negative 3, negative 3x squared. Subtract with brackets. Negative 4 minus 3, that will be a negative x squared. And then bring down the positive x. I need a negative x to give me a negative x squared. Negative x times negative 3 is a positive 3x. Close bracket. X minus 3, that will be a negative 2x. Bring down the positive 6. To get a negative 2x, I must have a negative 2. So negative 2x plus 6. And it so happens that for this particular question, if you do the long division, you are going to end up with a remainder 0. So after we have done the long division, how do you express your answer in this form? Now, why is it that the answer is written like this? I need you to think back on a simple long division. Do we all agree that 6 divided by 2, because the remainder is 0, I can write 6 divided by 2 as a number 3. And where does number 3 come from? It came from the quotient. So by a similar logic, because the remainder is actually a 0, we can safely say that the dividend x cubed minus 4x squared plus x plus 6 divided by the divisor, and since the remainder is 0, The answer is simply the quotient. This is the quotient, which is over here. Okay, and that is the answer for redo example 10. Now go and work on the you do example 10 and we will check the answer in a while. Pause the video now. Alright, you are ready to check the you do example 10? Okay, did you notice that for the you do example 10 there is a missing x squared term? Do you put it in? When you do a long division, do you get this? With a remainder 0? And then, do you present your answer like this? The dividend divided by the divisor gives you the quotient. Okay, so that's for this part. Okay, part 2. Using your answer, the long division actually gave us a result. The result is the quotient. So the quotient now is less than 0. Let's put it in. Did you actually recall that you are supposed to solve a quadratic inequality? And your answer is like that. Less than 0 means below the x-axis, you shade below, and then the answer is x more than -1 less than 3/2. Now what is important here is that you remember to factorize. Now this is from topic 2.3. If you have forgotten this, please go and revise. Okay, some of you may be asking, teacher, how do you get the -1? Now the -1 is obtained from the x plus 1. A rough working will tell you x plus 1 equal to 0. If you solve it, x will give you -1. Now that's how the -1 appears. Likewise, how do we get 3/2? You must solve this bracket. So 2x minus 3 equal to 0, 2x is equals to 3, x is equals to 3/2. That's how we get the 3/2. Alright, with that, this is the you do example 10. Alright, with this, we have completed topic 4.1. It is now ready for you to start the homework questions. Okay, so the homework questions in yellow, together with the N-level questions, please get it done by 8th of April, Monday. Okay, with that, we'll end this video. Thank you for your attention.